I was like, oh my gosh, people are not going to believe me. I already knew people are not going to believe that I'm hearing his voice. And I said, how can I describe it to people so I can share his voice? God bless everyone. I really want to share the difference between spirit, vision, and dream. The first time I actually get to experience God, where I hear him full on 100%. And the difference between a dream and a vision is that in the vision, you are fully awake, fully conscious, you're not falling asleep or anything, and then you see things. Taken into the spirit, this one is very wild because it's not a dream. It was not a vision. It's its own thing. That's why in the book of John and the book of Revelations, I'm going to put the verse right here. He says that he was taken in the spirit. And because I understand what a dream is, and because I understand what a vision is, I can tell you they're all different. They're all very similar, same spirit, same God, but they are all different experiences. I had fallen asleep, and this is how I know it wasn't a dream because I know when I'm in the dream state. I have been pretty close to my dreams as a young age. Dream of having to go to the restroom. You think you're peeing in the restroom, but actually you're wetting yourself in real life. I've woken up 7 times, and at that moment in times, here's a little humor for you. I had actually completely wet the bed. I was 6 years old, and I'm like, man, I don't need to go to the restroom anymore because I wet myself. So being taken in the spirit, this is amazing. I had fallen asleep. I suddenly woke up in a dream state, 100%, no doubt about that. And I can tell that my body was laying down there. No, this is not an out of body experience. No, this is still dream mode. I didn't look at myself. I didn't see details on my face. I just knew that, hey, I had just woken up from next to the bed that I was just sleeping in. But I could tell it was immediately a dream because it was grayish and it was kind of eerie, quiet. And I'm like, oh, I'm in a dream. So I'm walking out, go down the hallway, and I walk out of my room. Since I'm walking out of my house, the front door of my house and the sidewalk, there's trees. So there's a gap. As I'm walking, I stop in the middle, and I just, in a dream, you tend to look around. So as I was looking around, I see that the sky was typically gray, but it was eerie, quiet, no ambulances, no cars, no traffic. I knew there was something different about this dream. Immediately, I'm flying so fast into the sky. Something took me. The best way I can explain it, no, I don't believe in aliens, but it was like a teleporter without no light or anything. I am being taken so quickly, I can't register this in my dream. I've dreamt about speeds in my dreams. This is not that. I'm taking so far high in the sky. I'm not able to recognize roads, streets, and I just see ocean and land. So I'm really high above ground, very high, no clouds. I'm almost above clouds, almost into space, we'll call it, but I'm not in space. It's right when I get so far away, it changes the scene. And when it changes the scene, now instead of being pulled down and looking down and being pulled away from the earth, now I'm looking straight and I can see that the clouds are under me. Like when you go on an airplane. On an airplane, you fly above the clouds and you can see the clouds under you. It's really cool if you haven't seen that before. I was above the clouds and going through clouds at a very fast speed. I know I'm in a dream, but I can't control it. I'm out of control. And this is when I realize this is no longer a dream because I am fully aware, fully awake, but yet it's not a dream. But I'm having a vision at the same time, but it's not a vision because I have full control of everything. I'm almost borderline able to interact where I was at. When I'm flying through like this, I look to the right and I'm flying over this beautiful paradise oasis. It was the sun was really warm, beautiful orange sunset. It was high, but it wasn't like that bright yellow that we see that like pierces the eye. No, it was enjoyable to see. The land was beautiful. It felt unpolluted. It felt like I don't even know if there was any humans on Earth at this point in time. I know that's a weird way to describe it, but it was so fresh. It was so recently created. It felt like, I'll be honest with you, if I was to describe it, it almost felt like I was there on the sixth day of creation with the Lord. But it was just so peaceful, and you can tell that there was nobody else around. It was a place created fresh and new for us. This is how it went. I mean, I'm hovering over the land, and the Bible says that his spirit hovered over the face of the waters. I was hovering by something taking me over the face of the water. So I already knew, wow, this is beautiful. I wasn't scared. I was at peace, 100%. It was so calm. And suddenly I started hearing voices or a voice at a distance, and it sounded really weird. It sounded like I know it sounds crazy, I'm not, but it was a different language. When I started hearing that, I was like, what does this language sound like? And then immediately within my heart, within my spirit at that time, something said, this is the Ancient of Days. Mind you, I'll get to that in a moment. I haven't read that description, that verse in a long time, but that's a description for God. And you'll read that in the book of Daniel. I have taken in the spirit. I would not remember that description of the Lord. And I said, this is the Ancient of Days. Immediately after that, I was like, oh my gosh, people are not going to believe me. I already knew people are not going to believe that I'm hearing his voice. And I said, how can I describe it to people so I can share his voice? So I apologize for not sharing it sooner, but his voice sounded like if you were in a stadium and a big stadium, and you can hear the voice everywhere, but you can't really pinpoint where it was. But I did know that it was higher than me and it was above me. Mind you, I'm already high in the clouds, above the clouds. His voice is higher, and it was like everywhere, and it was loud enough that I can hear it. Secondly, the next thought that came into my mind was like, it sounds like the voice of someone who has been around for a very long time. And immediately the visual that came into me in my spirit was someone with white beard. And that's beautiful too, because when God is described in the Old Testament, he is described as having woolly hair, the texture, and white. Then the third description that I could give you was he sounded like militant, very secure and very confident in what he says. So the best way I can do that is kind of like explain it to you now. You have heard my voice and it sounds like this. His voice sounds like this. I need you to go and move forward. It's very punctual, it's very clear. It's amazing. Right before I woke up, as he was talking in this other language, I hear 7 and I heard it clear. This is about 2 years ago. I know that at that time I had been reading that a lot of people had heard around the same time that I did the number 7. I don't know what it means. Obviously, some of you are thinking end times, which to me, have at it. Whatever the Lord reveals to you, that's to you. But I need to pray more on that to figure out what it is. But we must all be sober and vigilant. That is the difference that I can share with you between a dream, a vision, and being taken into the spirit. I hope this helps. And if you have any questions or if you have your own stories, I love reading the comments of what other people shared and the other dream that I had that I shared with. And it's just amazing to see how the Lord is talking to many people. So let's all stay united in the love of Christ. Peace be to you all and have a very blessed week. God bless.